Okay, in terms of data binding, so let's think about what data we need access to, right? So first, we need content of the course. For example, the title, the cover image, the all stuff about the author and the details, and also whether the logged in account has access to that particular course. Now, at the moment, we are using account has course to keep track of whether a user has access to that course, and we have some data in here. So the way we interpret that is if there's an entry that corresponding to that particular logged in user and the ID of the course we're looking at, then he has access to the course. And we do also want this to be reflected as the moment the ownership changes. So that means we actually need a subscription. Subscription can also be understood as a live query. So that means if the content of database changes, you get a notified in the front end, and the data actually reflects that. So the way we do that is by adding a data source that's subscription. But before we do that, notice how inside, ooh, my thing just froze. Notice how inside we have this course ID in the path, and then there's a 1 here. So we are using course ID to pass things around, so that's the easy way. But if you do want to do something fancier for SEO purposes, because this 1 doesn't mean much, right? But if you do want it to have a fancier path, then you can do that. But we'll stick with the easy thing for now. And maybe we'll do like a full SEO rework later. We'll just call this course ID, and it's gonna be a big int. And with that course ID, we can now call this course, and we'll use course. It's a query 1, and we will just get the course whose ID is equal to the course ID. Okay, so now this particular data source represents the content of the actual course. The other thing that I said we needed is to keep track of the ownership. So we'll call this one user has course. And that's gonna come from account has course. Maybe we should call this account has course. Yeah, let's just call it account has course. And the difference here is when we use subscription. As I said, subscriptions will give you the content of the database as things change. If something changes in the database, you will get it fetched over here. And we want to make sure that the owner's ID is equal to the logged in user's ID, and also we'll add another one. The course's ID is equal to the ID that was passed in. Okay, so if the user has bought the course, then we should see it here. Now we have those 2 pieces of data already. We can now start bind them onto the page. For example, in here, that would be the course's title. And in here will be the number of learners, right? So that is the course's owners count. And actually we need to add something learners. So we'll do a space and learners. Count learners. Okay. And this one is going to be the courses video. That's when it's purchased. If it's not purchased, it's going to be the courses cover image. Okay, cool. So now I have the cover image. And the author here, obviously we want the actual author. So one of the advantages of Moment is that we allow you to fetch information that's related to a particular entity without explicitly doing joins. And we handle all the join on the back end, also indexing. So in here, we could just say author's name. You can see we did not explicitly fetch the course's author. All we need to do is just to start from the course and fetch all the related stuff. This is also the case with the number of learners here. Okay, and then here is gonna be the bio of our author. Well, I called it description apparently. Okay, so that's that, and this one we will fetch the course's description. Well, details. Same thing here. Okay, cool. And obviously we need the actual price. So $, and if you press slash, it's gonna call up the data binding thing, so you don't have to click all the time. The course's price. So I think this more or less does it. So let's do a preview and see what goes on. Obviously, if we change to the course detail, we're missing the course ID, right? So it's not going to show anything, and that's a required input. So let's actually do one. So let's pick 4. Save and reload. That will take us to. Okay, here we go. Let's see if there's anything that's off. We have a hello world here, which we don't want. So let's change that. We obviously don't want the hello world. Okay, so that should get rid of it. Oops, I just closed it. Do we get to keep this? No. Save and reload. So that takes us to that particular page. Okay, so that's gone. Let's compare against something that this guy has bought. Okay, let's close that. Well, this looks more or less similar, except from the top bar, which I explicitly did not want to touch. I think we have a winner here. Okay, so let's deal with the actual conditionals, because we haven't configured any conditionals yet. We got the not purchased thing here, and then the first one is purchased. This guy's first one is not purchased, and all right. So let's change the sequence so they line up. If they have purchased something, it's always the first condition, so it's easier. So we only have to configure the same thing twice instead of trying to configure different things to configure basically the same logic differently. As I said, the first thing is if it's purchased, we need to make sure that they are logged in. So logged in user is not null, and then the data source account has course is not null. That means it's bought. And if it's not bought, the condition will just fall through and end up in not purchased. And down here, it's the same thing that we have to configure. Logged in user exists, and also the ownership exists. Okay, cool. So let's take a look, see if that's what's going on. Okay, cool. We now have, we do have something wrong here because this goes to the right. So that's because I did not set this to multi-line. And once I have it set to multi-line, the width, the height should be fine. Width should be 100% instead of anything else. And also aligned to the left. So now this looks much better, very much similar to this. Yep, that's good. And also we are seeing a non-purchased view, and we have 0 learners, so that's also the case. Now can we look at the course? Well, let's look at something that's actually bought. So we do have some data in here. That's some fake data for something that's bought. Owner account 1 and course ID 3. Okay, so owner account 1, course ID 3. Cool. And we're seeing the views are correct. We have 1 learner. We have the video that we can play here, and then we have the send button and a box, an input box. Okay, so that's all as expected. And on the next video, we'll try to do the purchase because now that we have this thing that we can click, we want to do the purchase, and then once we're done with the purchasing, we can start dealing with the AI.